Friends and family, yes, the time has come again. Today I want to show you how I installed my Kinky straight Brazilian hair from BestLaceWigs. Okay, this hair is soft, it is beautiful, it looks realistic, it looks very much like my relaxed hair, and I absolutely am enjoying it. These are pictures of what I look like now with the hair on. Okay, so I'm going to show you right now what my braid pattern was for this. As you can see, I did the braids real quickly. I left out the edges at the front and the sides because I'm trying to grow the edges now, so I'm trying not to braid them at all. This is the closure. As you can see, the texture is just beautiful. I am taming it by using my hot comb from Lava Soft, just so I can hold the hair together when I sew it down onto my braids, onto my cornrows. So that's the reason why I'm taming the hair right now. And I'm going to hold it with my clip. And the next thing that I'm going to do is tweeze out some of the hair at the hairline in order to thin it out a little bit. It looks really artificial to me when my hairline is slightly thinner. Actually, mine is a lot thinner than when you go further back, into my hair. And then having this closure that the hairline is so abrupt and dense, it just looks unnatural on me. So I made sure that I used a tweezer to pull out some of the hairs at the hairline on the closure. This will give it a more natural look that will blend better with my edges. So that's what I'm doing. After I tweeze it a little bit, I use the brush to comb out the hairs that I have pulled out so that I can better see what the edge looks like, and I can decide whether I need to tweeze some more out or not. So it looks like I am satisfied with it at this time. So what I'm going to do is going to get out my scissors and trim off the lace, the excess lace at the front. So that's what I'm doing right now. Some people prefer to do it at the end, but I feel like if I do it at the end, I'm going to cut some of my hair off, especially now that I'm leaving, about 1/2 inch to 1 inch of hair at the front. If I just go and try to trim my lace edge at that point, I think I'll cut off some of my hair. So right now I'm basing my scalp with some shea butter mixture that I created. It's a mixture of shea butter and some essential oils. I have jojoba oil, castor oil, coconut oil, and a few others that I mixed it with. Trying to make sure my scalp is nicely conditioned before I put the weave on. So once I am done basting my scalp, I am going to go ahead and prepare to sew on the closure. Now, as you know me, I always have new methods of doing things. Every time I do something that I've done before, I try a different method to see if I can make it better. So what I have found out is it is better to have 2 individual threads on needles, 2 separate ones. So what I do is I anchor one side of the closure to, a braid, and then I anchor the other side using a different needle and thread, because I don't like having to cut the thread, after I anchor it one side and then take that same thread and needle to the other side and anchor it, and then sew a little bit on this side and cut the thread and come back to the other side and cut the thread. I don't understand. I have 4 needles, okay? So with that, I should be able to find a better way to do this, and that's what I'm doing now. So this way, I'm not cutting any threads. I just leave it hanging and I move to the other side. If I need to fix the anchoring or the sewing, I fix it, but I don't cut the thread and move on to the other side with it. So that's what I'm doing here. I am done with all that, and now I am about to sew in the weave. Now I wanted to show you the weft It is one of the most perfect wefts that I have used. It is not too thick, it is not too thin. There's just enough hair on it, and it is secure enough to give you a slight challenge when you're trying to put the needle through it. However, it is not impossible like some of those that is so thick that you feel like you need a hammer to hammer the needle through the weft. So this one is perfect. I absolutely enjoyed using this weave because the weft was one of the best that I've seen. So what I do is I connect that very first weft to the corner of the closure. So I don't really have to anchor that first weft to my hair. I anchor to the closure because, again, I'm trying to keep that hair at my edge. You know what I mean? So I don't want to sew too much at the edges of my hair. So that's what I did. I anchored it to the closure, and then I sewed around, and then went to the back, and then came back up to the other side of the closure. And I feel like that's another way of making sure the closure stays secure. The other thing is I also sewed the closure onto the very first braid at the edges, but I sewed it, I opened up, in between the hair, and then sewed it and then covered it with hair so that you wouldn't be able to see it. And that's what I did. And now I am using my Lava Soft pressing comb or hot comb to tame the hair a little bit. I realized, okay, I'm going to work tomorrow. I can't have big hair, like this, because I had a business meeting with my director, and so I had to tame it down a little bit. So that's what I did. And you can see the texture in the hair is just amazing. I absolutely enjoy it. And yes, sometimes I do leave it nice and big. Now, the only thing that I didn't like is that the closure that I got was too short. That was my fault. Absolutely no fault of BestLaceWigs company. I want to make that clear. My bundles were 14 inches and 2 16 inches. One 14 inches and 2 16 inches. How are you going to get a closure that's 8 inches? Girl child, come on. So the reason why I did that was I was only thinking about how the hair would fall around my face, and kind of frame my face, and I didn't want to have to trim it. You know what I mean? You buy expensive hair, you don't want to trim it. So that was my reasoning for getting a shorter closure, but I forgot that the length difference between the closure and that first set of hair that I'm going to sew down is so vast. 8 inches and 8 inches and 14 inches. Yeah, it's too much. So anyway, that was my fault, but I changed it later. I replaced that closure. I ordered a 12-inch from them. So yes, I had to, straighten the hair at the front a little bit. But later on, I just started using gel to keep it down because I need to keep my edges, healthy. So that's what I did. And then I tied the hair at the back and I went off to bed. Friends and family, this is the finished product. I absolutely love it. I do wish I had gotten a longer closure because the length of the closure was 8 inches, and the next length bundle was 12 inches, and then I had 2 16ths. But I think that the closure should have been 12 just to match the bundle. But anyway, it is what it is. So I used a hot comb to tame it a little bit, and then I did one braid down my back to sleep and tied it down, and that's it. So this is what the closure looks like. Remember, I bleached the knots, so it looks really good. So the length, like I said, 16 inches, that's where it comes up to, which is perfect. And this is what we have. I'm going to turn around so you can see it. And I am off to work. Have a blessed day, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Bye.